only 4 teams have won more points over the last 11 games than West Ham, and they seem to have knitted together extremely well under him.
Yep, they've found their identity. They've found what they're about. You're sort of speaking to Jarrod Bowen, he's saying, that's the blueprint. There, go for it. We've got it. It's not going to work every time. It's going to work more times than it's not. And I think they're going into games knowing that they've got a chance, which is huge for your belief when you're down there.
Is it that balance between Nuno and his very practical approach, his quite defensive, very organised approach, and having those creative players at the top that we know about?
Yeah, you've got to know your strengths, Kelly. You've got to be the art of football management is getting players playing in the right positions, knowing what their strengths are, figuring out the best way to get a result. And the other thing that you have to do here, probably, and Rob will understand it more than I do, is you've got to engage the fans. If they're with you, they are such a force. And it felt like today they got behind the team. They didn't make it too difficult for them, even though they were struggling that first 30 minutes. And then second half, they got right behind them. Every tackle they cheered, every moment, every single action. And that's a big thing. And I think that's what Nuno's done. He's embraced the fans. The fans are now behind the team, because when you're against you and they can turn on you very quickly, it makes it difficult. But right now, they're in a really good place. They've got a good connection.
Yeah, they've got a real element of, we don't have to be brilliant. And you look at how they played tonight, they were by no way, shape or form brilliant in the first half, but they gave themselves a chance. And then you're saying, someone like Somerville, he only has to get that right once. Jarrod Bowen, he'll keep going for you all night. It won't come off every time, but it'll come off once or twice. Pablo, Tati, they're the same. They'll keep on going for you. So you've got that element of those 6 to keep it tight, and then the other 4, one of you gets something right at some point.
You're right, Rob. You've got match winners. You need match winners in your team. I look at, because what you have to go for all the other teams in that bottom situation, who's going to win the game? Who's going to take the game by the scruff of the neck? And when I look at Tottenham right now that have gone into that bottom 3, I think, okay, where's your match winner? Who's going to win you a game? Who's going to be the one player?
Particularly when you look at the games that they've all got left.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see, when I look at Jarrod Bowen, I look at Somerville. He actually had a poor first half, but like you said, he still had great moments, Rob. And that's the important thing, because right now, if you look at those bottom clubs, you think, who's the players? Who's going to lead the line? Who's going to take this relegation running by the scruff of its neck? And that's now put the pressure, almighty pressure, on Tottenham Hotspur that have to go away to Sunderland in their next game after beating Newcastle. I know that feels like an absolute lifetime away, but that's not an easy fixture. Then Brighton at home. You know, Wolves right now is a team you want to be playing. I think if you're looking at Leeds after that performance, thinking, okay, that's the one we can maybe get a result, and then you get yourself right out of the relegation fight. But anything can happen. There's still going to be twists and turns. You know, West Ham have only got to lose their next game away at Crystal Palace, and they're right back in it. So very difficult to predict. But one thing for sure, you're going to need calm heads, and you're going to need what West Ham did today, was look a real threat from set pieces. You've got to have a real threat from where your best players, like Jarrod Bowen, like Somerville, and then you give yourself a real chance.
And you don't throw away the game. Don't lose yourself the game, which is where Spurs are at the minute. They're conceding 2 goals a game. So you've got to score 3 just to get yourself in the game. And you're looking at tonight saying 4-0, it was easy. It wasn't. But when it was tough, when it was difficult, they stayed in the game and went, it's not really our moment right now, but we'll wait for our moment. If you've got that patience, you've got that confidence, you're giving yourself a massive chance.
And to reiterate my point earlier on, I think Mavropanos and Disasi look a real partnership. And they are the sort that you want in a relegation fight. And I'm not sure, although they're better players at Tottenham, I'm not sure those 2 centre-backs, they think they're too good for a relegation fight. I don't think Romero's probably thinking, I've won the World Cup. I should be playing, I'm not in the bottom 3.
But is it a different mentality if you bring in players who think they're going to be challenging, for example, for European places, and then you're asking them to fight in a relegation
Kelly, 100%.
Are they just different qualities?
Absolutely. And what they're going to be doing under De Zerbi at Tottenham is he's going to be asking them to play out from the back, to take risks, to receive the ball in your own 6-yard box. And what I like about West Ham is they know their limitations. They don't take too many risks. I think from Nottingham Forest's point of view, I think from Lee's point of view, they're a little bit like that as well. This isn't a time to be thinking you're a better player than what you are. This is a time to dig in, to play to your maximum, to give everything you've got, show some desire, head it, tackle. And obviously you need the moments from the top players, but this is a time for real cool heads. And I think that's what they've shown here with the points return that they've got, Rob, has been absolutely phenomenal. They're the team with momentum out of all of the bottom 4.
Yeah, and Mavropanos will get the headlines tonight. But you look alongside, and you talked about the recruitment, Disasi. coming in at January, and you're saying he knew what he was coming into. He knew he'd play. He knew he could bring something to the team. And I tell you what, between them, they just stand in front of the goal. Just stand there and defend, and they're not going to throw away the game with those two.
And the goalkeeper,
and
Rob.
Hammondson
I know,
as
the
well.
goalkeeper.
He's
He got
now
a bit of
coming
stick
to it.
earlier this season,
yeah,
didn't he?
and he's come into it, and he looks assured, and that's no shock that the two in front of him look assured. He looks assured. You know, we were here for the game against Chelsea at the start of the season, all over the place, stretched. They were positionally awful. Now you know exactly where they are. You know what you're going to get from them.